Well, the Biden administration is sending Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Costa Rica today to speak with Central American officials about how to block migration to the United States. But Senate Republicans say all the administration is doing is passing the buck while the crisis continues. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales reports. Erik?
Well, Tracy, no doubt that U.S. relations with governments in these Northern Triangle countries such as El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala have been strained as a result of this border crisis, despite President Biden planning to spend some $4 billion over the next 4 years to help these countries and their economy. Now, Republicans say you can't just continue to keep throwing money at this issue. They would like to see the reimplementation of some of former President Trump's policies, all in the name of national security. Texas Senator John Cornyn tells me the biggest scandal right now, these unaccompanied children apprehended at the border are being flown across the country.
What worries me is that there are more children in custody, about 18,000 children in custody as of May the 24th, more than double the number that were in custody during the Trump administration. Yet you hear and see very little about that.
He says previous investigations show some of these kids were placed into forced labor, gangs, and even the sex industry.
They're telling people don't come, but all their actions are nothing but incentivizing people to continue to come. That's why you've seen about 750,000 people show up at our border just in this last fiscal year.
Republicans say they'd like to see construction of the wall start up again, along with enhanced border security and funding for Border Patrol officers. Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville has introduced a bill to give state and local law enforcement more jurisdiction over immigration cases.
What we want to do is we want to empower state and local law enforcement where they can do this on their own, where if they run into this, they can handle it because it's going to overwhelm our communities.
The immigration issue is red hot. Over the next 2 days, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops is holding an emergency meeting with officials from Central America as well as Vatican representatives to set forth a path for the U.S. Church's response on immigration. Faith leaders say while migrants need legal support, they also need food, housing, and education, yet they're often released into crowded and sometimes substandard living conditions with relatives. By the way, the bishops' meeting comes just days before Vice President Kamala Harris does plan to visit Guatemala and Mexico June 7th and 8th, but she is not going to go down to the U.S.-Mexico border. The visit is part of a plan to lay out U.S. policy in the region to improve the conditions so that people will want to stay in their home countries. At the Capitol, Erik Rosales, EWTN News Nightly.